Hi there! Last December I had the idea to create a quiver that was matching the quivers used in the Tang Dynasty. Tang Dynasty was, if Google doesn't lead me wrong, 618 to 907 AD. So it's quite some time ago, and at least at that point of time we only had some drawings or paintings where people or men, archers, stood there, had some huge quiver at the side, all with some kind of foxtail on it, and it's called a tassel, and yeah, it looked rounded. So the hulu quivers built up so far are usually round, and so was my plan, but I wanted to, not to have it close in the front or at the sides like this, because it's difficult with the top. The hulu quiver has an opening mouth and with a flap on the front, and this flap is open to that side. So that was not easy. I was always struggling how to get that. Finally I had a plan and I started. At Christmas I got as a present a very nice swivel knife, and with this swivel knife I have cut out the dragon, and I posted a picture, and then Haydon, who has already supported me with his blueprint for his hulu quiver, made me aware that there is an excavation of Tang Dynasty General Murong Zhi, which has been buried exceptionally with a lot of equipment. And in this case it was not only armor, but there was also a quiver included. And this quiver showed that the bottom was shaped like this. And this was the solution for many of my problems. And so I have rearranged my design and got along with this quiver. So, this is what I have then created. It's a prototype with a lot of illnesses, you might say. I think the quiver builders at that time were very experienced, especially if they have the honor to create something for a member of the royal family, like for the general. Since I'm not a member of a royal family or an advanced and high-skilled craftsman or craftwoman, there are some shortfalls. Yeah, but overall, I think you get the idea, and so I try to explain what you can see here. First of all, the quiver has a length of 92 centimeters. That seems long, and indeed it is long. The original had 90 centimeters. These additional 2 centimeters come from the bottom that I have extended a bit longer. I explain it later. And it's the flap. So the 90 centimeters were originally from here to where the leather ends. The leather ends 1 centimeter below the edge. So these are the 90 centimeters. The flap itself is here secured with a magnet. The Chinese people in the Tang Dynasty didn't have magnets, that's clear so far. Originally I thought I can just secure if I just take this piece of leather, form it, and then it stays in position. Yeah, it could work. Yeah, I think it could work, but then it wouldn't be fixed. Yeah, maybe it should be larger, or I need to work more precisely. I always try to be as precise as possible, but naja, it's a prototype. So if you open it, you can see here the flat opening. This opening here is 8 centimeters, here it's a bit less, so 7.5, and here it's about 12 or 14 centimeters, so it's relatively wide. Don't know if you can see it. Here inside I glued in a bit of sheep fur, And you will see later why I did this, because I have a 10th century Hungarian quiver. It's an hourglass quiver, and the last arrow is always hard to find and hard to grab. Yeah, so because he is rolling here into this edge, and here's some kind of edge as well, and it's hard to grab, and this fur prevents rolling the last arrow into the edge. It's easy to grab, but I cannot fill the quiver to its max. What else? We have brass elements instead of iron, and this is simply because I thought it's matching the color scheme here, and I can only buy metal pieces, and then I need to arrange it, drill in some holes here and there, and then put it together. Here I needed to extend this straight piece of brass, and so I created a special bracket that is glued on, and this is not simply glued on, I would say it's cold welded, because when I sanded it on a machine, the metal got really hot and it was still fixed. So this is made forever. The screws here won't get loose because the screw is fixed with Loctite, and Loctite is some kind of screw glue that you can just fill in, and if you screw it tight, it's locked forever. Maybe there are tricks to get it loose again, but I'm not aware, and I don't want to get loose because I want to open the flap as often as I want. What else? You may wonder why we have these pieces here. These are cover pieces because the front goes from here to the sides up to here. So you see that we have one piece here for the back. Yeah, this goes all the way up. So I needed to fix the upper head with the lower body. And this is secure, yeah, nothing happens here, but to cover the seam, it's just glued on. And I think an advanced builder would have another idea to make it better. So, but yes, it's a prototype. Okay, here we have soft leather, yeah, as a lining, and it's glued in the full quiver. Yeah, even if you do not see it, it doesn't matter. I know that it's there, and it's glued from here, from the top to the bottom. So, what else? The tassel is fixed here with this kind of, there's another screw, maybe you can see it here, another screw from the inside, and this is a piece you can buy in shops. This is some kind of ring where the flap is attached with this mechanism and fixed here with a screw, and you can see that you may be on the inside. I don't know if you can see it. It's some kind of here. These screws are very flat, so the function is still there. The front and the back pieces are laced with 4mm kangaroo band. So the kangaroo band is very durable, and in this case it took me quite some time to do the lacing, although it seems quite straight. Yeah. And I made up my mind where to put the D-rings. These are made of brass, of course, as well, and they do their job very good, very good. The 3D modeling here, the carving of a dragon, is a story of itself. When I started it, I had a rough idea how to carve leather. Yeah, I had done a few pieces. This was the first with an excellent swivel knife. I have watched a YouTube series from made by or cut by Rabom, featuring Jürgen Volbach and filmed by Miva. And this is just an amazing series and taught me a lot. So I thought I can do this. Yeah. Well, at least I could do a start. And this first post also helped me to get more feedback. I got in contact with Jürgen Volbach directly, and he was so kind to give me some advices how to proceed further, showed me some tricks. And then I had, it's just fate. Yeah, I have a weekend workshop with Jürgen Volbach and some other guys, and it was so helpful. So without these guys, it wouldn't have looked like this. So thank you very much, Jürgen, for all this, for all your support, and Haydon for your help. So it's just amazing. So this quiver is more or less a teamwork. And furthermore, Jürgen helped me to get this pattern. First I thought I'd do it more simple, but indeed this looks way better. And yeah, coloring is something this is known to me, there's no problem. Here in the lower section we see a landscape in China and stylized, you know what I mean. And the lower section has also a brass band. This is 5 centimeters. And if you see the shape of this quiver, you see that it starts, this is 9 centimeters here, and goes down to, I didn't measure it, I think it's 6 centimeters or so depth. So there is this angle. It's impossible to create a band. This is fully on this side, on the front, going to the back without these distances here. And it was really hard to pull this piece and make it fit in a good way. I did all the best, but I have only 2 hands, and one could do better. Yeah, then we wouldn't have these distances here. This is not so nice, but it's only visible if you look from the bottom. And by the way, this is a special wood called laurel mesa. It's only 5 centimeters thick and then glued on to MDF, because it's much easier to put in nails in MDF than in laurel mesa. That's why. And initially I thought I wouldn't have 5 centimeters but only 3 centimeters. This is why I needed to extend then the quiver a bit. That's why. Okay, what else? I already talked a lot. Maybe you want to know the weight of this quiver. It's not so lightweighted, it's 1,888 gram, so roughly 1.89 kilogram. And you feel it if you wear it. And this quiver is really huge. I'm 1.63 meters, and so this quiver is nearly the half of my size. And if I walk with it, you will see later when I throw some arrows, it swings around. We have in the pictures only shown 2-point ridging, and that's the reason why we only see here 2 D-rings. The fixing on the belt that I have created for this quiver is, I think it's 4 millimeters leather. I put on some rings here as well, so I can attach whatsoever, some pieces. In theory, I could switch the size as a side, but I wouldn't, because of the fur that I have glued in, because I would wear it to the other side. First, there is no D-ring on this side, and if I wear it like this, it points backwards, and then the trick is not there anymore. What? Yeah, I could do it. But they on the pictures all archers have worn the quiver on the right side. Right, what else? This buckle has been created in 1981. It's a brass buckle showing a dragon, as you can see, and I think this was a perfect match for this belt. Yeah, and now you would like to know, I guess, how many arrows I can put in there. Up to 20, as I said. We have lost a bit space because of the fur. I'll show you now. The maximum size of the arrow is 32 inches. So these are the 32 inches arrows. I put them in one by one because it's a bit easier than. For those who may wonder why I put them with the feathers downside, this is how it's going to be used. The benefit of this is that you always can see the point. Yeah, maybe you can already see here the effect. The arrows have a bit of distance to the side here, to the edge, and you can always grab the last arrow easily. So, furthermore, these are 3 sets of 6 arrows and 3 additionals. So we see. So these ones are quite clear. Over. So, like this. And we have a proper fletching here, so nothing thin, really normal. I use these arrows very often. So, nearly done. Potentially, yeah, no, yeah, 21 arrows. See? And then done, ready to go. So this is quite, now it's heavy, yeah, with a lot of arrows inside, and wearing is okay, yeah, it could be worse. So if it's made of wood, it's even harder. But this leather has no special fixing or so. There are no ribs, it's just the leather. The leather is 2.5 millimeters tooling leather, so it's relatively thick. Because I wanted to carve it, it's necessary that it has a certain thickness. And so I used the same leather overall, because I experienced that if I switch the leathers, the color vary. And I don't want to have that here in this piece. Furthermore, this sign is the Tang sign. So this is the Chinese word for tongue. It's fan art. And yeah, it's just something on it. Otherwise it looks a bit odd. Right, what else? Why this tassel? Fair question. So why have in Germany in the 80s, I think, some car drivers called manta drivers had some kind of tail, fox tail, on their radio antenna. That was quite popular, but only for those guys who have driven a manta car. And I don't know if this is just fashion or if it has a deeper sense. One idea is that it could just prevent the arrows from rattling. Okay, in the moment nothing is rattling, but indeed, if there are less arrows inside and it gets annoying, you can try it, you can do it. Just put in the foxtail through this hole, put it in here. Yeah. Possible. But I don't know if it's intended. Alright. Yeah. That's a lot of explanations for this quiver, and thank you for your patience so far. And yeah, let's try out and how it works. Potentially like a quiver. As it happens most times, I have forgotten one detail. The brass. This brass has been, what's it called? Patinated. And the original brass is golden color, so it's really shiny. It really hurts the eyes if the sun is shining down on it, and you need just to wear sunglasses. Otherwise, it's really too much. And it's too much for this carving here, for the picture. So I decided to patinate the brass. This is the result after the third try. So the first two attempts have been, it was excellent, yeah, it was really good looking, but the color was like dark steel. And dark steel is not the correct color range for this quiver. So I tried to get it into the chemicals a little longer for a brown color, and wiped it after I took it out of the liquid, and it was still not the correct color, dark steel. So I tried, okay, maybe if I don't wipe it away and I just keep it as it is and it dries off, then maybe the color stays. Nope, it looked not good anymore. So this was not a homogeneous color anymore. It just, yeah, it looked just as if I would have done it the first time. And I did it the third time. So I decided, okay, then I need to polish it and try it all over again, the whole process. But when I polished it, it looked more vivid. Yeah, and the result is what you can see here, like this. You can see a few stripes where it's lightened and others that are darkened. This is by far not the original color. The original color is golden, and this is what we call old brass. Yeah, and yeah, this has the right color scheme, and I kept it. Yeah, a lot of experiences made with this quiver taught me a lot. It's a huge project that has taken me in total 6 months, but I made a lot of breaks in between because I needed to make up my mind and get an idea how to proceed before I do the next step, and I don't want to ruin it. So I better took the time for thinking and experimenting a bit instead of just rushing through and then it's all spoiled. And this procedure was mostly successful except at the bottom, which is not, naja, let's put it like this, it looks like as I would have gone through war with it and already smashed some heads. But finally, shooting. The quiver is now lighter because I have only 3 arrows here. And now this is then the final test for the tassel. Putting it in here, closing the flap, and now silent. So the tassel reduces the noise, and if it's worn like this, but if it shall look cool, it's outside. And it's not, doesn't make sense to have it inside if you want to shoot. And you can see here, it's easy to grab all arrows, just one by a time. I try Gao Ying style. Haven't practiced it for a while, and especially not for the right side. So this motion doesn't come naturally for the right side because of the frozen shoulder syndrome. It's healed, but still this motion is not for the side, it's more for the left side. But we'll see. I see it's a bit stuck, but at least it's easy to draw. The bow has 32 pound at 28 inches, so easy. And another one. So you can see it's easy to grab the arrow from the quiver. It's quite natural. Basically, it doesn't matter how you grab it, at least if you have the time. Yeah, if you're a fast shooter like me, of course, the arrow needs to be at a specific point so that you do not need to think. Here, I can take the time to grab the arrow, hold it, nock it, put my position, and then shoot. But this is basically the same if I use another quiver where it's used just with the feathers outwards. It's more or less the same. Then I take it here, or take it there, or take it here, or take it there. Yeah, for me it doesn't make a difference. It's only the place I need. Yeah, so you see how it swings around. And imagine there are a few guys standing beside you, and they all have these huge quivers. Well. And in a battle, I wouldn't be one of those in the front, because with this quiver at the side, so if all my arrows are gone, I would take the quiver off and then just go with the sword. But as long as I shoot arrows, I would stay behind and wouldn't go into a battle directly. So why is it cool to see the points? In former times, they had a lot of different points. A point for nearly everything. So for hunting birds, cutting ropes, I think it could be the same one. This is the moon-shaped one. Or the one with a cage, where you could turn this into a fire arrow, or special forms of the points itself, so that they can go through armors more easily or whatsoever. For fishing, yeah, so a lot of various points for the various usages. And here in this case, I have more or less a 3D point. Yeah, so this is the same. The only thing that I can here distinguish are the colors and of course the length, but the length would be also visible vice versa. So if it would be just the other way around, that's not the driver here. Just imagine that would be another point. And these arrows are 32 inches long, 600 spined, and 406 grain weight. So enough for the 32 pound at 28 inches. I try to draw a little longer. Let's see how far I can get. So quite nice. The tongue bows are very nice to shoot. So they're very smooth. This one has a max draw of 35. I'm not capable of doing that. So my personal max draw is 31. So there's still enough arrow for me, so that's it's totally okay. That's a nice group. And yeah, you see, it's easy. You just take the arrow, you fix it here, then you grab the nock in, center shot. Yeah, and for me it doesn't make a difference if I take the arrow like this or if I take it like this. Usually if I have another quiver where the arrows point backwards, I grab the arrow here. And what's the difference? Here. Very similar. The only difference is that the other quivers yeah, are easy to carry because they are usually a little lighter. and not so huge. But if you are sitting on a horse and you have shot already a few arrows and you have this open quiver, that's called like this, or open side quiver, then there is a danger of losing arrows because they're not sitting tight anymore. There are things for securement that you can do, but just imagine you have only a bit of felt inside, and if you have not enough arrows inside anymore, the arrows get loose and you might lose 1 or 2 arrows. This is impossible here. The arrows don't fall out. Yeah, and not sitting on a horse. Yeah, maybe they jump up a bit, but they don't fall. And here, if I force it, yeah, I need to just put it like this, then they slide out. But who carries the arrow this the quiver this way? No one. So it's quite secure for the arrows. And yeah, loading the quiver is of course easy. Yeah, what else to say? It was a fantastic project, and as I said, I learned a lot, made a lot of experiences, and yeah, the idea behind the quiver is nice. So we know this design more or less from the 10th century Hungarian quiver or any other steppe quivers, but these quivers have been open. Yeah, there was no flap. They were just looking like this without flap. Then a flap can attach differently. Yeah, you can attach the flap here on the mouth and then just open it. Possible as well, works. But it's not 100% looking like on the drawings. And yeah, I think that this strategy with the frame for the flap is not common. I think this is something that has been specially created for Murong Zhi. And I like it too. In the Tang Dynasty, I wouldn't have been allowed to wear a quiver like this. This would only be allowed to royal people. And luckily, I live in these times and can do something like this and wear something like this. Good. So thank you everybody for your patience, hopefully for your interest. And yeah, if you want to create a hulu quiver yourself, mail me and then I can just photograph my patterns and then you can start from there. No need to invent the wheel another time. Then you can just take the shorter way and improve where I was struggling. So thanks everybody for watching. Wish you a good time and enjoy archery, and fingers crossed for our friends in Ukraine. Thank you. Bye-bye.